How do you select a font for a brand that conveys the right personality? This is a question that a lot of designers face, and it is sometimes very ambiguous and hard to pinpoint. So, I'm going to show you a few examples behind the scenes and why I selected certain fonts to portray certain personalities for a brand. Here we go. For this first layout, I'm going to design a brand that feels a little bit classic and refined and polished, and also modern as well. So I selected two fonts, or three actually, that are contrasting but really work well together. For the logo, I selected a typeface that has some really distinctive characteristics within it, but also feels highly legible and modern and classic as well. So I love the K in this font because it has those really nice angular serifs that feels distinctive. And the T also has a really distinctive kind of swoop to it. And so I thought this made for a good logo type. I didn't do any customizing to this logo, but of course you could jump in and customize and tweak as you see fit. Now, I thought that this logo type conveyed something that felt classic, but the angular serifs made it feel a little bit more modern. It feels really polished to me. It feels very classic because it is a serif, and it also feels formal in that it's a capital K and then the lowercase the rest. So it has a little bit more of a formality to it compared to like all lowercase, for example. On the right, you'll see the type that I selected to go with this. The headline type really pairs nicely with the logo, but doesn't compete with it. It's a lighter weight. It doesn't have those angular serifs, and it's really legible. So I know this would work well as the brand expands into different use cases. And the sans serif is a really nice light, all caps, tracked out sans serif. And I love using this with classic fonts that feel modern, or classic brands that feel modern and refined. So overall, this look feels sophisticated and yet modern and not too stuffy. You can see quite a contrast on this next brand, Baby, because the brand overall reads as playful and approachable and lighthearted and fun. And I feel like it also appeals to a more youthful audience, maybe by the nature of the product itself with baby products. But overall, the brand feels very youthful. So on the left, we have the logo type, and this is set in a all lowercase type, a little bit tracked out sans serif. Why I selected this logo for this brand is that I wanted something to feel modern, and I wanted it to feel a little bit playful, so not super straightforward like a Helvetica or Gotham or something like that. And so those A's and the E's have a little bit more of a personality to them that feels distinctive, which you want for a logo, but also has a little bit more play to it as well. Having it set in lowercase gives it that informal kind of nature to it, which again reads as more of a youthful brand. On the right, you'll see the typography that I paired with it is a really open serif. If you have an open font, a lot of times that feels to me a little bit more approachable. A lot of times open meaning that there's more space within the counters, like the A and the C's and the O's, things like that. So it just feels more open. It's highly legible, and it doesn't feel sophisticated or stuffy in any way. It feels very fun and inviting. And so overall, this brand reads as something that's playful and youthful and lighthearted, and not to be taken too seriously, but also very modern and has a polished look to it. This final example is a totally different brand, which is a little bit more up-leveled and refined and sophisticated. This is for a rug company, and so the logo type, I chose a very distinctive font. I did not change anything within this logo. I didn't do any adjusting other than selecting new letters from the glyph panel, which is nice that there's lots of options there. So that's a trick when designing logos, is to find one that has a lot of glyph options. And I love this logo type because it's so unique, the characteristics within it. The M, the double O, the R, the CO together, the high crossbar on the H and the E and the R all work really well. I feel like the more it goes up, I don't know why I think this, but the more the crossbar goes up, the more sophisticated it feels, a little bit more refined and classy. And so the logo has a really light weight to it. It's all caps. It has those distinctive sharp serifs. And so overall, I feel like it's a very kind of sophisticated mark here. So this is a brand that feels like more serious, right? It's not as lighthearted as the baby one, so it's a little bit more up-leveled and serious. Now to pair with those fonts on the right side, you'll see I chose an all lowercase condensed serif. And this is more of an editorial style font, and so it just feels up-leveled in that way, having it condensed and a little bit more traditional in its letter forms, and it helps to really ground the design, whereas you can't have all of the lightweight all caps like the logo. This provides a little bit more versatility within the brand. And then for rug styles, it's a little bit of a mono font, and so it has kind of that industrial edge to it that helps give a different layer to it that doesn't feel all sophisticated and classy and romantic or traditional, but it gives it just a little bit of a tweak to it that has a little bit more of a modern edge to it. So I hope this helps selecting fonts for your brands. I know this is a bit ambiguous and there are some recipes to go off of, and there's a lot of good resources out there. I am providing a new resource that is giving you all of these fonts, telling you what's used in all these fonts. Currently there are 50 of them. Type swipes is what I'm calling it, and there's more added every month. I love to provide the logo with supporting fonts with that. And so I'm creating a new resource to do just that. So stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing more information about that, where you can see fonts in use and see them specifically for brands and how they work well with other font pairings. Thank you.